So hi, welcome to the Music City Drive-In. I'm Eric, and I am speaking today with two producers of the festival. Or could you tell me a little bit about your role of what this is?
Yeah, so I'm Anna Blakely, and I'm the tour manager and production manager for the festival and for Kendal Mountain events.
Yeah, my name is Steve Scott. I'm one of the directors of the festival, but I'm also an on-stage, on-screen presenter as well.
Awesome. So have you guys, has it been a long tour?
Well, it kicks off next Monday. So yes.
Great.
So it will be shortly.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we've got lots going on, but we've got our 4 premiere events starting on Monday for the first couple of weeks, and then it goes into our hosted and cinematic versions, which we've got about 70 plus events. So yes, it's going to be a lot going on all over the US and Canada, yeah, for the next few months.
Excellent. Okay, so my biggest questions come from the connection between the films selected for this festival. There are definitely common threads that seem to range through athleticism, overcoming obstacles, survival. What is sort of the drive behind bringing these together? How were these picked?
Well, I mean, Kendal is a very highly respected festival within this genre, with adventure filmmaking. And, we're 42 years old this year, and the core of our event is a hugely respected international film competition. So we've been spending months deliberating which of our sort of curated programs we should bring to our friends across the Atlantic. And it's been an interesting conversation and journey for us to go, this is the journey we're going to take you all on. And we've come up with what I feel is an incredible lineup of the best short films from the UK and all over the world, really.
And it's the idea is to give people a taste of the festival as well. So as Steve was saying, there's a huge film competition, so there's hundreds of films to choose from, and it's to give people out on tour a taste and a flavor of all the different things that they could find at the festival itself and online. So so it's absolutely brilliant to be able to do that. And we've also had some of these films on our UK tour as well. So the feedback from our UK audiences has also been about having films with a lot of narration, a lot of good storyline, good protagonists, just fascinating stories. So that again is something that we wanted to choose and put into our program as well.
So did you two have a hand in picking the 6 that I viewed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
And
okay.
Hopefully you enjoyed them.
Yeah.
I did. I did very much. I actually, honestly, I feel very odd about the whole rating sort of situation with movies. Competition in film is just an absolutely mind-boggling sort of situation. But I did actually. I think Touching the Water, the sort of poetry of that was really engaging. And then The Traverse, that was just like, I feel like I've seen this documentary told over like a 2-hour runtime or something like this, but not for this crew and not with this sort of efficiency. And some of the way they're able to get certain shots, they're gorgeous, and I don't understand. Like the
human journey those two protagonists, Valentine and Hilary, were on that challenge. To put it in perspective, most people take 6, 7 or more days to do that journey of the whole route from Chamonix to Zermatt. And these two women, they were obviously trying to break the 24-hour record. So that is going some, and they, as you probably saw from the film, they went through hell and back just to get there. And for the first ever time, female record breakers, but you just sense the journey they're going on between each other, as well as the personal challenges, because they're coming from slightly different backgrounds, but the support element there was super.
And that was sort of the most engaging aspect, I think, of all 6 of them to me, is that process of someone undergoes a change and has to adapt, whether it's intentional or unintentional. Is that something that like strikes you about a story, the idea of someone either choosing or not choosing an obstacle and overcoming it? Or how do you feel about just a person having to, I don't know, it's not even achieving a goal, it's just that sort of strain to push yourself beyond what you thought was possible?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's both, isn't there? There are things that come up in this program, because there is, I mean, so like say Leo Rogers, who had the trauma of losing a leg and then having to adapt physically to a new sport and build that community. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible to have to do that and to make those changes and adapting your physical lifestyle. But then we've also got the process, and that I felt was something that's very in tune with what's happening now as well, with a lot of these extreme athletes, where they're questioning why they're doing what they're doing, how far they're willing to push it. Is it worth taking it to the edge? What are they getting? What are they risking? And they're watching their fellow athletes potentially, well, a lot of them are pushing it to the extreme and they're dying. So it's kind of making different choices. And I just think that's a fascinating conversation at the moment for what people are doing in the outdoors. So there's lots of different dynamics going on in a lot of those films of people's choices.
It's great you mentioned those 2 back to back, Leo Rogers and The Process, because it's sort of 2 sides of a similar situation of, you know, striving to survive and striving to thrive. Like these are 2 different things, and all of them sort of have this engagement with nature. Was that another thing for you all? Is that a big aspect of things?
Yeah, I guess through, you know, certainly globally, we can all relate to the difficulties we all faced during the pandemic and being locked down at various phases. You know, this was tough time and still is for all of us. You know, it's not finished yet, is it? But hopefully we've come through the worst of it. But certainly with that sort of period of reflection that a lot of people had, I think we saw a lot of these new projects take flight. You know, people were thinking, right, well, I'm not a runner, maybe I need to set myself a running challenge. I'm not satisfied with my life as it is. I need to get out in the outdoor environment. We've heard about sort of mental health and well-being that just being outside can give us. And I think what's coming through a lot of this program is the catharsis that this brings people from a lot of their problems they've encountered in life. Actually, just simply being outside and moving in the outdoor environment is hugely beneficial to us. And I think that comes across in quite a few of these films.
And it is that feeling of you can do that on a solo mission, but you can also do it with community and finding that community. Like, so in A Woman's Place, you know, these women climbers who are getting together, supporting each other and getting out onto the rock and working together to have that community and achieve things that they would never have imagined or been able to do on their own. So so there's all sorts of other dynamics within that, being able to be out in nature. Yeah, absolutely.
So let me see if I remember this correctly, and tell me, please correct me if you prefer a different name to go by. Anna and Scott?
Steve.
Oh, of course I would.
Okay, it's one of those names you could just flip it and it still works.
Well, I have a brother named Steven. I should be on board, but you know. So Steve, I was curious, do either of you have a favorite out of these 6?
Oh my God, that's such a hard. I think it depends on my mood.
I've got.
You can say that for almost any movie.
Yeah.
Like that's
That's such a good answer, isn't it? Can I have three?
No.
yeah.
That's too
Well,
long.
Okay, so
you
my
can
top
have
three. Okay, my top three, I think, are The Process, because I just love everything about that. The filmmaker, Matt Pycroft, and Cold House Collective, they are a fantastic filmmaking group, and I just love that competition. And it's also in the Lake District, where we're from, so I just love that. Chasing Ghosts is a beautiful environmental film in the Florida swamps, and it's I just love the enthusiasm of the guys trying to find their orchid and their moths. It just puts a smile on my face every time. I love it. And Touching Water, as you said, that is again another favorite, and it brings me to tears. Joss Naylor is one of our icons, fell running icons round in the Lake District, and yeah, really beautiful and powerful film. So those are my three.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to choose three, but
because I'm just greedy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I think for me, The Traverse, I think that for me is a really special film, because I've lived in the Valley of Chamonix before, and I've spent a lot of my life in the mountains there, so I obviously personally relate to that. I think, yeah, The Process is great because it's a film from here, from our local environment, that we can share with the rest of the world. We're showing the Lake District mountains and culture, if you like, the heritage, off to its best. And I think people will genuinely be surprised at the landscape that we have here in England, in the Northwest. But I think everything has its strength, but I can't really pick a favorite, really.
okay.
No.
So I have two sort of bigger questions for you, one of which you've already pretty much answered. If your answer is the same, that's okay. I kind of went straight for the record button, which I don't normally do. So what is the goal of the festival to you two? What, like, as you've talked about the selection, like how you're going to select the stories, what kind of stories you want to be told, but what's the goal?
You mean for the tour in North America? Yeah.
Wait, so it is a tour. Can you tell me the difference? Because it was sort of framed to me as like a festival of showing like different movies and whatnot. So you are touring?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So maybe I talk about the festival briefly, and then you talk about the touring element.
Yeah.
So yeah, the festival is, we like to use you've obviously heard of South by Southwest in Austin. So, analogy I use is that Kendal is very much the South by Southwest of the outdoor world in the UK, certainly. But it's a global event. We have new talent, we have industry people meeting, we have the general public coming here to be entertained and inspired. We have the outdoor industry coming here en masse, filmmakers, TV, even live music in the evenings. There's lots of drinking goes on, you name it. There's something for everyone. So this really is our like Glastonbury of every year. It takes place every November, and it's 42 years old, and it's the biggest adventure film and speaker festival is kind in the world now. We have over 20,000 people coming. And the touring element is like we really pick the best of what we do.
Yeah, so we started our UK tour about 7-8 years ago, and that's been building strength to strength over the last few years. So and we just had an opportunity to work with a company and bring it over to the US. So we are starting on Monday. We've got 4 premiere events, which not only have the films, but we also have live adventure speakers and filmmakers also going to be at those events as well. So they're going to have an opportunity to talk about their incredible adventures or films that they've made. We're going to have hosts there, presenters, our brand partners are going to be there. There's competitions going on. So we have 4 of those events. So that's Santa Cruz, Seattle, Boston, and Denver. And then we go into theatrical events. We've got about 70 plus events going on throughout the US and Canada for the next few months. So yeah, lots going on and loads of opportunities for people to catch these events.
And so again, this will fold into you with this question answered a little bit of the next question, but what do you hope audiences take away from experiencing the tour?
Inspiration, excitement, finding their own adventure, finding their own way of getting out and getting that kick from being in the outdoors, whatever, however that might be, whether that be a gentle stroll round the local park, or whether it's planning a 4-day run across some incredible mountain range, whatever floats your boat. But it's trying to encourage people to get out there and enjoy this beautiful place where we live. And if they do that, hopefully they'll look after it, and the knock-on is all positive.
I'm going to go a layer deeper than that, and I think I hope people get a sense of what the festival is, in the sense of, you know, the position we have as a big platform to change perceptions of outdoor, and hopefully be a sort of welcoming, diverse event that we really stand for. So if you look at the program, you know, we're talking about disability, we're working with people of color, we're working on gender balance. We even discussed topics of sexuality in the outdoors, things that were never spoken about, you know, even 5 years ago, let alone decades ago. So now, you know, we're not scared of showcasing this diversity and saying, look, you know, the outdoors traditionally has been white, male, middle class for many, many, many decades. And I think Kendal is playing a big role. Hopefully it's going to go across to the Atlantic as well, but it's playing a big role in maybe changing perceptions and landscapes of, excuse the pun, of, you know, what people think is right for them to do. And we want to be more welcoming and saying, look, you know, get out there, enjoy it.
Sounds really awful, but the outdoors is for everybody.
Yeah.
But and it's
I have to admit, I went jogging in the past week, and it did have to do with watching these. So I appreciate that. But I've always been that sort of person. I don't know if you all have, or if you have a certain experience and it keeps you moving and exciting, it does. And I think you're speaking a little to that, like inspire you to sort of engage with the world a little bit differently. And I think that's the power of storytelling. And I think that's the thing I appreciate the most about this, is they're so personal. And that's the thing about the Traverse in particular is, I don't remember, I'm sorry, off the top of my head, the name of which protagonist lost her husband.
No, that was Valentine Fab. Yeah,
Valentine.
Yeah.
It felt like it was so different than just challenging herself to overcome a physical obstacle. It was inspirational to see them do what they did, but to feel for that, to feel that sense of pride in grief and loss, that was probably the most profound thing, and why that touched me so hard. So I'm so excited at the concept of, one, like you said, telling these stories now in a time where everyone is getting ready to move out into the world again and decide what they're going to do with themselves, decide what they're going to do with their futures. I think it is really important stateside that you have this idea spreading of, what do people want to be and do with their lives, when so many people are at a crossroads of, do I want to keep working, you know, this bare bones job, or do I want to survive, or do I want to thrive? And that's at the core of watching these together. So I just really appreciate and thank you all for the chance for me to watch it. And I'd like to thank the filmmakers for the chance to get to watch these. And yeah, I hope everyone gets to do it. There is also, by the way, Spellbound. That one was surprisingly freeing. That was hypnotic.
It was scary but hypnotic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jeez, that was such a good film.
It's so good. And when it goes from black and white to color, it's just bam.
And you know, on the big screen,
amazing.
You can imagine that. What I love about that is especially if you're near the front of the theater, you feel like you're flying with these people, like just skimming the landscape. Sometimes, you know, 10, 15 feet above the ground. And you know, it's so scary, it's so on the edge of what is possible with humans, but they're literally flying, you know, they're flying with a wingsuit. And to actually have the narration over, you know, over the whole visual extravaganza, if you like, the very in-depth narration, it's like a soliloquy, you know, there's certain thoughts coming out about the darker side of flying and losing friends. So yeah, it's one of those you've got to watch 3 times at least, I think.
Oh yeah, but again, it's their expressions at the end, and again, that's what I find about a lot of these films is just the joy on people's faces when they've achieved something, or that buzz of I mean, doing something like that is I mean, the adrenaline from that is incredible, but you can just see how much joy they get from it. And that's the same with all the other films, like The Running Thoughts as well. And, you know, it's just what it gives you, you know, finding that space, finding those moments. And it just gives you so much. So yeah, it's, brilliant.
Yeah, there's two sides to these stories always, because there's the team behind the camera and the team in front of the camera. I think Running Thoughts shows that like a little bit more, in the sense of you see these post effects and editing and things like that, where someone would spend a long time piecing this together, and there's a passion there for that. And like, there's passion in all of them, which is, again, just like massively appreciated. Again, thank you both for being here and talking to me today. And I really hope that the rest of the press circuit, the entire tour, the entire festival goes very well. And just, is there anything else that you would like an audience that, you know, listens to any odd thing that comes from our website, that you'd like them to know?
Well, no, just please check it out online, us.kendalmountaintour.com, or look on Instagram for Kendal Mountain Tour USA, or even the main festival Instagram, and they'll always point you to the shows that are on near you. But basically, please spread the word. It's new for us, but we're obviously so excited to be, you know, coming over to North America, and it gives us an excuse to sort of grow the content there, and hopefully physically we can present it on stage next year as well. So yeah, thank you so much, Eric.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I hope to see these in theaters sometime and be there and do that, because it was a fantastic experience.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.